I have 2 weeks to escape my controlling and abusive husband before he returns from a business trip. My name is Emma, and at 29, I found myself shackled in a marriage that was slowly suffocating me. My husband, Alex, whom I had once adored as a charming college sweetheart, had morphed into a controlling, menacing figure. Our whirlwind romance began in the carefree days of university, where Alex's wit and charisma swept me off my feet. We married 7 months ago, and what I believed to be the beginning of a fairytale quickly turned into a nightmare I was desperate to escape. Initially, Alex's questions about my day and my activities seemed harmless, even loving. How was your day? Who did you hang out with? What did you do? At first, these inquiries felt comforting, like he genuinely cared. But soon, they morphed into a relentless barrage. Why were you at the coffee shop for so long? Who were you texting? Let me see your phone. The first time he demanded to see my phone, I was taken aback. It felt invasive, but I shrugged it off, convincing myself he was just being protective. Little did I know that this was only the beginning of his obsession with control. The questions became more pointed, his tone more accusatory. If I stayed out too long, if I chatted with a friend, if I lingered over a book at the store, I'd return to a slew of texts and missed calls. His patience wore thin quickly, and the loving boyfriend I married was replaced by a man who scrutinized my every move. My freedom was slipping away, replaced by a growing sense of entrapment and dread. I was no longer living my life. I was merely existing under Alex's oppressive watch. Our finances, once a mutual agreement of independence, became another arena for Alex's control. We had decided to keep our bank accounts separate to maintain some semblance of individuality. It seemed reasonable at the time, a way to ensure both of us had our personal space. However, Alex began to press for combined finances, arguing that marriage meant sharing everything. It's practical, Emma. We're a team now, he would say, his voice dripping with condescension. Despite my reservations, I relented. I sat across from him at the bank, a knot in my stomach, as we linked our accounts. I watched my autonomy dissolve, piece by piece, as Alex's control tightened its grip. The final straw came when Alex insisted I wear a tracker while he was away on a business trip to California. It's for your safety, he claimed, his eyes gleaming with a disturbing intensity. I just want to make sure you're okay. The idea of being monitored every second sent chills down my spine. I felt like a lab rat under constant surveillance, my every move scrutinized. I knew then that I had to leave. I had 2 weeks before he returned, 2 weeks to plan my escape from this oppressive nightmare. With Alex gone, the house was both a prison and a sanctuary. I felt his presence in every room, his eyes watching me even from afar. I meticulously searched for hidden cameras, finding several in strategic places. Each discovery was a gut punch, a confirmation of Alex's obsessive need for control. I left them in place, pretending everything was normal, not wanting to tip him off. The bathroom became my secret headquarters. I would lock myself in, running the water to mask my whispered phone calls and frantic planning. It was the only place where I felt somewhat safe, where I could plot my escape without his prying eyes. Reaching out for help was a delicate dance. Alex's family, never particularly close to me, dismissed his behavior as overprotectiveness. He just loves you, they'd say, brushing off my concerns as irrational fears. I felt isolated, trapped in a web of deceit and control. Desperation led me to Reddit, where I poured out my heart to strangers. The response was overwhelming. People shared their own stories, their struggles, and their victories. Their support was a lifeline, a beacon of hope in my darkest hours. Each story I read, each piece of advice I received, fueled my resolve to break free. I avoided contacting domestic violence services where my sister-in-law volunteered, fearing any information might filter back to Alex. Instead, I met with 2 lawyers. They were both appalled by the divorce papers Alex had prepared. The clauses were a testament to his need for control, financial domination, restricted freedom, even hints at control over my body and future choices. The stark reality of his intentions fortified my resolve to escape. I knew I couldn't sign those papers. I couldn't let him dictate my life any longer. I confided in my manager, a compassionate woman who promised to look into transfer opportunities for me in other states. My job had openings in 3 different locations, and I began researching housing options in those areas. I was prepared to quit if it meant securing my freedom. To buy myself time and avoid suspicion, I told Alex's family and friends that I was planning a surprise for his return. It was a risky lie, but I needed the cover to prepare my departure without arousing suspicion. A storm was forecasted for the following week, and I decided it would be the perfect cover for my escape. I found a small moving company willing to work during the storm, explaining my situation to the empathetic owner. As the wind howled and rain lashed the windows, I packed my essentials clothes, personal documents, and a few cherished possessions. I left behind the furniture, the electronics, documenting the house's condition meticulously to shield myself from any false accusations Alex might concoct. The stormy day arrived. With the moving truck parked discreetly outside, I loaded my belongings, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. The rain was relentless, but it masked my departure. Neighbors stayed indoors, unaware of the drama unfolding next door. I locked the door behind me, feeling a strange sense of finality. I had no idea what the future held, but I was determined to reclaim my life, one step at a time. The hotel room felt like a temporary haven, a small bubble of safety amid the chaos. That first night, I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, the reality of my situation sinking in. The next morning, I began the arduous process of searching for an apartment. My lawyer, a pillar of strength, assured me they would handle serving Alex with the divorce papers upon his return. The thought of Alex's reaction filled me with a strange mix of fear and satisfaction. I imagined his fury, his disbelief when he found out I was gone. My lawyer promised to take precautions, and I felt a small spark of hope. The divorce papers were served the day Alex returned. His rage escalated, culminating in an assault on an officer, leading to his arrest. It was a terrifying yet validating confirmation of my decision to leave. In the days that followed, Alex tried to reach me through mutual friends and family. Messages poured in, some accusing me of overreacting, others begging me to talk to Alex. I maintained a strict no-contact policy, focusing on securing my freedom. I sent out emails to friends and family, explaining my reasons for leaving, hoping to prevent Alex from twisting the narrative. Moving to a new city was a whirlwind of emotions. I found a secure apartment, a small space that felt like my own sanctuary. As I unpacked, arranging my things in a way that felt right, I began to breathe a little easier. The accusations from Alex's family and friends stung, but I knew deep down that I had made the right choice. My lawyer believed we had a strong case for a protective order, especially after Alex's violent outburst. The divorce process was grueling, each step a battle, but every victory brought me closer to freedom. I leaned on the support of my new community, forging new connections and rebuilding my life. Memories of my grandmother's advice echoed in my mind, her words a guiding light, a reminder of the importance of recognizing abuse early. I was determined not to repeat the same mistakes, to move forward with strength and independence. Life after Alex was a journey of rediscovery. I found solace in small things: a morning coffee at a local cafe, the warmth of a new friendship, the simple pleasure of a quiet evening in my own space. Each day was a step towards healing, a testament to my resilience. I immersed myself in my new surroundings, exploring the city, savoring the freedom to go where I pleased without fear of repercussions. The weight that had once pressed down on me lifted, replaced by a growing sense of empowerment. I took up new hobbies, rediscovered old passions, and reveled in the simple joy of making my own choices. I joined a book club, something I had always wanted to do but never felt I had the time or freedom for. The camaraderie of fellow book lovers, the shared discussions, and the laughter became a balm for my soul. I signed up for a painting class, an outlet for my creativity that had long been stifled. The vibrant colors, the flow of the brush on canvas, became a form of therapy, a way to express the emotions I had kept bottled up for so long. My new job was a breath of fresh air. The transfer had gone smoothly, and I found myself in a supportive environment where my contributions were valued. My colleagues were welcoming, and I quickly formed friendships that felt genuine and untainted by the shadows of my past. I threw myself into my work, finding satisfaction in my accomplishments and pride in my independence. Each task completed, each goal met, was a reminder that I was capable, strong, and in control of my own destiny. Despite the challenges, I embraced my new life with fierce determination. I was free from the suffocating grip of control, free to make my own choices, free to be myself. As I looked out over the city from my apartment window, a sense of peace washed over me. I had escaped, and I was ready to face whatever the future held. My story was one of survival, of courage, of reclaiming my life. And for the first time in a long while, I felt truly alive. I had a future ahead of me, uncharted and full of possibilities. My journey had just begun, and I was ready to embrace it with open arms, unafraid and unapologetically free. In the quiet moments, I often reflected on the path that had led me here. I thought about the girl I had been when I first met, Alex, young, hopeful, full of dreams. I mourned the loss of that innocence but celebrated the woman I had become. The trials I faced had forged me into someone resilient and unyielding, someone who had faced her fears and emerged stronger on the other side. I no longer saw myself as a victim but as a survivor, someone who had taken control of her life and refused to be defined by her past. Every morning, as I sipped my coffee and watched the world wake up outside my window, I felt a surge of gratitude for the second chance I had been given. I was rebuilding my life on my own terms, and there was a profound sense of satisfaction in that. The echoes of Alex's control were fading, replaced by the steady rhythm of my own heartbeat, the cadence of a life lived freely and authentically. As the days turned into weeks and then months, the distance between me and my old life grew. The divorce was finalized, and I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The protective order was granted, a legal shield against Alex's attempts to reassert control. I was officially free, both legally and emotionally. The shadow of fear that had lingered in my heart began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of safety and security. I found new passions, discovered new facets of myself that had been buried under the weight of control. I volunteered at a local shelter, wanting to give back, to help others who were in situations like mine. It was a humbling experience, and it reinforced my resolve to live my life with compassion and strength. I began to speak out about my experiences, sharing my story to raise awareness and offer hope to those who were still trapped in the darkness. In those moments, I realized the true power of my journey. It wasn't just about escaping Alex, it was about reclaiming my voice, my autonomy, my life. It was about standing up against control and manipulation, about fighting for my right to live freely and authentically. I had been through hell, but I had emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to make the most of my newfound freedom. I built a network of support around me, friends who became like family, a community that embraced me and celebrated my resilience. I immersed myself in my new life, savoring the freedom to make my own choices, to chart my own course. The fear that had once dictated my every move was replaced by a growing confidence, a belief in my own strength and capabilities. I learned to trust myself again, to listen to my own instincts and desires. I set goals, big and small, and took pride in achieving them. I planned trips, explored new places, and reveled in the simple joy of discovery. Each step forward was a testament to my journey, a celebration of my freedom. As I moved forward, I knew there would still be challenges, moments of doubt, and lingering fears. But I also knew that I had the strength to face them, to overcome whatever obstacles lay ahead. My past had shaped me, but it didn't define me. I was forging my own path, building a future that was bright and full of promise. And so, I embraced each day with a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to live my life fully and unapologetically. I had escaped the shadows, and I was ready to step into the light, to live a life that was truly my own. My story was one of survival, of courage, of reclaiming my life. And as I stood at the threshold of my new beginning, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought me here. I was free, and I was ready to embrace whatever the future held with open arms and an unbreakable spirit.